Welcome to all Dailonic students. I am Atul Bhujbal, Assistant Professor at Baramati College of Pharmacy, Baranpur, Baramati. Today we are discuss about the Renin Angiotensin Aldosterone system, RAAS. It is an important system in the body because it maintains the blood pressure. Blood pressure is maintained by the two ways, short-term regulators and long-term regulators. In that, this renin-angiotensin system is long-term regulator of blood pressure. First of all, we studied about the blood pressure. Blood pressure means it is the pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of blood vessels is called as blood pressure. Due to some circumstances, this blood pressure goes down, means it is called as hypotension. In this hypotensive phase, all organs should be supplied by the low blood pressure, but kidney having ability to detect this low blood pressure because kidney having the functional units which is called as nephrons. Approximately 1 million nephrons should be present in each kidney. So, how this renin-angiotensin aldosterone system works, we studied step by step. This is step 1. In this step, this is the nephron, and this highlighted portion is called as glomerulus. It is the first part of the nephron. In this glomerulus, you can see this is the juxtaglomerular cells. These juxtaglomerular cells are the special cells which is present on the walls of afferent arteria. Due to low blood pressure, the stimulation of these juxtaglomerular cells. What happens after that stimulation? That cells secretes one enzyme, and the name of that enzyme is called renin. It is the first precursor of this renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. Now, in the step 2, livers comes in a picture. Livers synthesize number of proteins. In that, one protein should be synthesized by the liver is angiotensinogen. This is a special protein which is synthesized by the liver, and the renin, which is already secreted by the Golgi cells through the kidney, acts onto this angiotensinogen and convert it into the angiotensin first. Into the circulation, this angiotensinogen conversion occurs. Now in step 3, the lungs in picture. The lungs endothelial having angiotensin converting enzyme ACE, which converts the angiotensin first in angiotensin second. This angiotensin second is the potent vasoconstrictor. Now, this angiotensin 2, angio means blood vessel and tensin means tension or pressure. So this angiotensin 2 acts by the 4 different ways. In that first one, it acts on arterial smooth muscles, it acts on adrenal cortex, it acts on hypothalamus, the part of the brain, and acts on autonomic nervous system, ANS. After this, acting on these 4 different parts, the result is increased blood pressure up to the normal. We see one by one how the angiotensin 2 acts on these 4 different ways. First one, effect on arterial smooth muscles. So angiotensin 2, whenever it gets converted from angiotensin 1, it is already we said that it is a potent vasoconstrictor. Vaso means blood vessels, constrictor means which constrict the blood vessels. So it acts on arterial smooth muscles, and these arterial smooth muscles get constricted by this angiotensin 2. The vasoconstriction effect is observed, and whenever the vasoconstriction occurs, it always increases the blood pressure. So by this way, it acts on arterial smooth muscles and increases the blood pressure. Second effect on adrenal cortex. Whenever angiotensin 2 is released, it acts on to the adrenal cortex, which is the part of adrenal glands which is present on the top of kidneys. Okay, so now this adrenal cortex having one part, it is called as zona glomerulosa. It is the special part. Whenever it gets stimulated by the angiotensin 2, it releases the mineralocorticoid hormones. the mineralocorticoid hormone, the name is aldosterone. Now, what happens after this aldosterone? Aldosterone is responsible to increase the sodium and water retention into the body. Whenever the sodium and water retention is increased, it always increases the water volume. The water volume increases means there is an increased blood volume, and whenever the blood volume is increased, volume is directly proportional with the pressure. That's why whenever blood volume is increased, it always increases the blood pressure. So now, by this way, the angiotensin 2 acts on to the adrenal cortex and increases the blood pressure. Third effect on hypothalamus. Angiotensin 2 is secreted and now it acts on to the hypothalamus. Due to that, the stimulation of hypothalamus occurs. Due to this stimulation, there is increasing thirst feeling because hypothalamus is responsible for thirsty and hungry feelings of the body. So there is increased thirst feeling. So naturally, whenever the thirst feelings are increases, our water intake is always increases. So increased intake of water responsible for increased water volume. Water volume is increases means blood volume is increases, and this blood volume responsible to increase the blood pressure. By this way, angiotensin 2 acts on to the hypothalamus and increases the blood pressure. The fourth and the last effect of this angiotensin 2 on autonomic nervous system, ANS. Angiotensin 2 released and act on to the ANS, which stimulate the autonomic nervous system. Due to this stimulation, autonomic nervous system, you know that already it having the two different parts, sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Whenever the stimulation of ANS due to the angiotensin 2 is there, it always stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, that is the fight and flight mechanisms. Due to this sympathetic nervous system stimulation, it increases the blood pressure with the help of different neurotransmitters like noradrenaline and adrenaline. So by this way, this renin-angiotensin system increases the blood pressure and goes towards the normal. Thank you.